Hello, my name's John Thorne from Thorny Motorsport, and here is the first of our series of comparison videos where we're comparing different McLaren models to each other. Now, part of this is brought about by people coming down here. We normally have 50, 60 cars on site, and they come in looking to buy a McLaren or looking at McLarens, and they don't know what to buy. A lot of the information they are looking at what they should buy is based on what they research on the internet. Now, I've done a bit of research myself, and I have to say some of the AI-generated content comparing these cars is completely wrong. Okay, so I thought we'd do a few comparison videos based on real-life driving, real-life usage that might be helpful for those people looking at buying a McLaren or just curious of different models. So, in the comments section of this video, put down what you want us to compare. We're comparing sometimes cars you would very obviously, like a 540 to a 570, but also might be some of the comparisons you might not realise. So if anyone wants for us to compare, put in the comments and we'll certainly give it a go. However, we're starting off with the obvious one, this one, which is the 12C and the 650. Now, I've been on record saying to people that these two are basically the same car. The 650 is simply a facelift upgrade to a 12C. But I've seen some AI and some various comments from commentators saying that the 650 is this dramatically better car, and it's simply not the case. Okay, in terms of power and torque differences, you're talking about 25-30 pounds of torque, sorry, 50 pounds of torque and 25-30 brake horsepower, different 650 and 12C. In real life terms, that's naff all on a 600 brake horsepower car. You cannot tell the difference. Tiny differences in speed and faster gear shifts, and generally a bit more mid-range is what you get from 650 compared to 12C. But you've got to drive it pretty hard to even see that. Okay, so there's minor differences. Visually is the main difference between 650 and 12C, with the front bumper and the rear bumper on the 650 being quite different. Now, visuals are based on personal choice. I personally prefer the 12C. I think it's neater, smoother, less fussy. And whereas other people might prefer the 650 with the more P1-esque front end and the detailing on the rear. And that's perfectly great. Both cars are wonderful. But in terms of comparisons, the 650 is not this dramatic increase over 12C. It is a slight increase. Now, what's interesting for me is that the price difference between these two cars, now you'll forgive me, this is specific to the UK market, other markets might be slightly different. We've seen the 12C degrade in price relative to the 650. And I personally don't understand why. Well, I do understand why. It's because this stuff on the internet says it's a different car and it's complete bullshit. So I thought it's worthwhile our first comparison video, putting a bit of real life into this thing for people comparing two cars. Now, other than the visuals, which I've already explained, in terms of driving the cars, they're exactly the same. Okay, slight more mid-range acceleration from the 650. Other than that, no difference at all. It's the same chassis, same tub, same bodywork other than the front and rear, same seat, same brakes, same suspension, same gearbox, same engine, same roof, same glass sides. Basically, they're the same car with slight differences. The interiors are identical. You sit in a 650 and then sit in a 12C, and I challenge you to fit the difference of them. There are subtle differences, but I bet most people can't see them. What's interesting to me is about 5-6 years ago, the 12C, all the McLaren market plummeted in value. And I put a Facebook post on 5 years ago now. I said, if I had the money, I'd buy every 12C I could find at about 65 grand. They got down to about £60,000. And I didn't understand why. If I had the money, I'd have bought it, I'd have made some money now. All those cars now trading at 70, 75 plus. But I'm seeing the same thing again now, where the 12C is coming down in price, but the 650 is not. Now, generally, the two cars should be about a £10,000 difference between the two. They were when they came out new, and they're roughly about now, between £10,000 and £15,000. And what I'm seeing now is 650s, good ones, holding up their price around 90, 95,000, in Spider form this is, and then the 12C Spiders coming down to late 70s, early 80s. It's too big a difference, okay? And the coupe is even worse. Coupe is now dropped below 80,000, which for me is a buying opportunity. These are great cars, and they shouldn't be at 71, 72,000. Other reason that's quite specific to the UK market is there are some cars out there that are causing, how should we say, relative value questions in people's minds. There are several cars out there, on auction sites primarily, and trust me when I say you don't want to buy one of these, all right? We've inspected most of these cars, and some of them need £30,000, £40,000 worth of remedial work. Indeed, this week alone, we rejected two 12Cs. One needed £38,000, one needed £44,000 of work. Ticking engines, leaking gearboxes, broken shocks, broken springs, front mains, all the sort of things that you could build up over years, compartmentalised into one big fat bill to get it repaired for someone. If you buy that car, you're in for 30, 40 grand bill at the end of it. So paying 50 grand for a car is not going to help you. Now, that also makes a difference between two cars. Give me a really well-prepared 12C over a crappy prepared 650 any day of the week. Okay, it's how these cars are looked after and how they're maintained that gives their value and gives their longevity. There is no difference between these two models in terms of build costs, in terms of running costs. They're exactly the same. As I said, they run the same parts. Okay, the difference in parts between a front arm on a 650 and a 12C front 650 is about 10 quid. Okay, so it's something to consider. Now, additional to this is that I always say to people that corrosion on these cars is a big issue. We deal with all of them. Again, the 12C 650 is identical. They're on the same composite panels. So they're affected by the same level of corrosion issues. So really it's about buying the car which has been the best prepared and best looked after, not necessarily the best model. Now I challenge anybody to come and drive a 12C, then drive a 650. This is not an invite for test pilots, you can sort off. But comparison of them, and I challenge you in day-to-day driving, the difference between two cars is marginal, if anything at all. Okay, they really are the same car. Okay, now if you like a different look of 650, fine. I prefer the 12C, but they're the same car. So I think on a comparison basis, the internet and some of the commentators saying they're about different cars are wrong. Okay, they're a very, very similar car and should be treated accordingly. Buy what you like a look of and which is the best condition. Forget the rest of it. Now, that's the first comparison video we've done. Hopefully that will be quite useful for people here. We're going to do some more, as I said, so let us know what you want us to compare different models and we'll start putting that together for you now. But it means for the moment in the UK market, if you're looking to buy a 12C, now is your time. They are too cheap. They've come down too low and it means opportunity for buying a car. If you're selling a 12C, hold on. All right, if you sell it now, you are selling into a falling market. Wait until they bounce back up as they did 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, all the 650s sell within seconds. And we sold 4 last week, in, out straight away. So the market is there. Capitalism anyway wins, supply and demand. People prefer the 650 at the moment. But it's only because I think a lot of it is based on this idea that the 12C is a weaker car. And it's basically the same car. All right, hope that's useful. Any comments, please let us know. Cheers.